pretty surely the longest and most massive train I have ever had in Transport Fever. And I'm sure there's many more to come. Look at this insane thing. That's not going to end for a while. This is not going to end for a while now. Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2 in the free mode with me, Spacefish. And welcome back to our railway into the abyss. In the last episode we got going on this huge railway connection from all the way over here in Ride, where we have a quarry which we are hoping to connect all the way to out here in Broadstairs and St. Peter's, where we want to get some construction materials going to actually supply Broadstairs and St. Peter's and finally get some growth underway. And well, it's kind of the biggest connection we've ever made in Freeplay and campaign mode and anything, and it's literally almost going across this entire very large map. I don't even know what size of map we have, but I'm pretty sure it's like the biggest kind of map you can get in the game. So insanely long, and hopefully also insanely profitable, because this train line is costing me a fortune at the moment. But what it also is then the first train line we actually have on this corner of the map out here, and I'm sure we will get to more of those sometime soon. But I actually want to check here. Jesus Christ, just look at Space City. Just like how insanely it has grown once more. There's so many people. There's 100 people waiting here. 68 people wait. There's people waiting all over the place. It's absolutely insane. I love to see that growth. Still very much hoping for better airplanes soon, though, so we can actually stem the influx of airplane passengers a bit more. But for the time being, let's go and focus back on that train line then. So I pulled this train line all the way out to here in the last episode. I think I want to, first things first, actually get a train line pulled out from here now, so we can kind of sort of get that connection going properly. Now, we've got a train station here already, of course, and it's got two train lines, one to kind of deliver out to Broadstairs and St. Peter's up here, and the other one for the construction materials. So let's go and grab some high-speed train tracks, and we will kind of just have to find a way here. Why are we at 200? Oh, yeah, right, that's always a bit of an issue, just like the small curvature you can only go for. We are also totally out of money. I was just at plus 2 million. I was like, let me get the time going, make some money, and now we're at -4. So hopefully that's going to fix itself. Also, we seem to have a lot of food out here actually waiting to be delivered. So maybe worth checking in on that soon. Did the factory actually upgrade here? Let's maybe check that. Oh, wow. Okay, so we will have to check in on that in just a second, because the factory is nearly at max level. We're not meeting the shipment figures required, and I'm sure that honestly we can probably pick up all the food we ever wanted if we just upgrade train line or two. I'm pretty sure the only train line we probably need to upgrade is Colburn, so let's keep that in mind for the time being, though. We had 12 million, we now have 7 million, but it is some money to actually start building. So let's pause this stuff and let's try and get this going. So the idea being here that we kind of try and hold max speed, of course, while at the same time we also want to get a tunnel going here below that. And well, quite frankly, the tunnel's going to have to be going for a while, I think, given that can we just like even that out? I don't want to go up. I just want to go evenly, yeah. So, actually we want to go up probably, because this seems to actually be an incline. But we're going to go and basically just put a tunnel through here with a slight curve kind of included, and we're going to try and surpass all those train lines out there basically at the same time too. Now, we are getting a bit close to the surface, but that's all still working just fine, I would say. In terms of where this thing has to go, I think we should about eye this region in the mountains right there for our train connection. Now, we're probably going to just get a tunnel going through the mountains, I think, because I would like to get, like, keep the high speed going and actually be able to go through this at max speed as much as I would really kind of like to. Oh god, no bridges please. As much as I would really like to make sure like that we have some sort of mountain connection where the train is kind of just going back and forth around the mountains, and we hopefully have some beautiful train line going. I'm thinking we'll probably more do that with like some passenger train connection or something between cities. Like, we've got Blackburn here, you know, maybe we connect that to Basingstoke eventually and have like a nice mountainous line going like around here, and you know, just make that a bit beautiful. You know, it doesn't have to make that much sense. You know, sometimes I just have these like little projects rather in mind that just tickle my fancy and that are not really just based on common sense alone, which I think is fine. And well, then we can just kind of see where that leads. But here, for the time being, we're gonna go and actually get a tunnel going through here. Now, what is going to be a concern is that this is actually not really where I need it to be. This is not really coming in at the right angle at the moment. Now, I guess this line being that long, we can adjust that angle a good bit before we start losing out on speed. So let's do that. I think that's a lot more sensible. So that's going to be our huge tunnel through these huge mountains. They look so small if you look at it like this, right? It looks like, oh yeah, you know, there's a few hills. And I was initially kind of really sad, well, not sad, but a little disappointed about the map we got, because I was like, oh, where are all the mountains? This map is so flat. But if you really like zoom in a bit, you can see this is actually quite the mountainous area, and just looks very flat if you look at it like this. So that's nice, you know. Hopefully that means that in the future we will eventually get to do that mountainous train line that I was so hoping for. This being kind of an issue though. I don't want a bridge, please, no. Can we not have a bridge? Is there any way we can get this lower down? No. Okay, maybe we will have to readjust this here then, which is going to be a bit of a waste of money. I do acknowledge that, but I would rather just make sure that we've got the right incline going out here already, instead of having a bridge there that slows the train down to, I mean, sure, that's at 90 kilometers an hour. If we have like a steel bridge, probably like 100 and something kilometers an hour, but one way or another, I do not like that all too much. So I would like to make sure that that works out for us, and that is kind of the better idea. Now, we've got another train line coming up right here, and, well, the street and stuff, so I think we will kind of want to try and to get a tunnel going if the inclines allow to do that in time. Wow, okay, close, but we can get it going, which is nice. And probably go do that a bit further up here, like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good, I would say. So, we are going to confirm that, and then we're going to go and boop, get that all nicely to the surface level again. Then we're probably going to have to elevate that slightly above surface level 2 in order to make sure that we can actually get across this river, because, well, this kind of riverbed, well, this does not seem to actually be below the river's height, but I had some issues here with this thing just going into the water, if you can remember the last episode, so we're going to have to make sure that that all works fine for us. Now, this here is the only section that we can't really do much of anything about in terms of we will have to have a bridge. I'm not sure. Maybe you can actually even get a tunnel going below water? I would suppose that is probably an option, but, well, we already got it going like this, and it's going to look nice and beautiful, so we're going to get it going like that. I'm going to make sure to actually increase the incline here a tad bit, though. Why are we at 100? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, right. I'm going to increase the incline a tad bit, just because I actually want to have my ships be able to pass through there too, basically. And we only have these steel bridges. That's kind of unfortunate. There's these cool, you know, more like Golden Gate Bridge-like looking bridges that you get eventually. If you are following along with the campaign mode, you can see those there that I was really hoping to make this one, but I guess this one looks pretty fine too. Now, the issue being, though, we're out of money, so we'll have to wait for money for a quick second, and you can see my issue with bridges, right? We only have a max speed of 180 kilometers an hour here, as opposed to 300 all along the other parts of the train line, so that is obviously kind of a big factor, because it is, and I just slowed down time too late there, because it is just slowing down the overall speed of the train. I'm hoping that eventually we will get to build bridges that allow us to go the full 300 kilometers an hour, but, well, we'll have to see about that. But with that said, look at this. Beautiful. It actually does look pretty good, doesn't it? What do you all think about it? Let me know down below. I think honestly this train line looks pretty darn good. So, pretty happy with that. Should also be high up enough to allow ships to pass through down below, which is also nice. We've got like 4.7 mil, which is probably, quite frankly, not quite enough for the train that we want to build. So let's keep time rolling for another second or two. I'm just checking in that these are actually all electric, which they seem to be, and, well, that train can just keep going. Now, I think we will eventually potentially have to have parallel train tracks out here so we can get 2 trains going, because I think I mentioned it in the previous episode. I do not think that we will actually be able to fulfill the demand for construction material production with just one train, no matter how long or fast we make it, just given how far this thing is away. So we will have to see about that. New plane! New plane! Oh, that's good news. That's really good news. We can hopefully kickstart our struggling airline a bit that way, because there's so many people waiting for an airplane that we can just not take on at the moment, and that is hopefully going to help us out a lot. That said, we are, I was going to say at 13 mil, now we're at 8 mil, but that should still be pretty fine, so let's stop the time there. We will go and call this Clay to Broadstairs and St. Peter's. Beautiful. And then we will just need a new train, not a train station, a train depot that we will place out here. Look at the amount of cars. Oh, look at the cars. It's so cool. I love these old timers, honestly. Well, in that time that we're playing in, of course, these were like the most modern cars that you could get. But don't you all think that these look pretty cool and beautiful too? Absolutely love it. I would love to own one of those super old cars someday. But it's crazy. It's pretty surprising the amount of traffic on these streets out here. Because, quite frankly, I think all the cities that I'm servicing thus far, there's literally next to no car traffic. I mean, look at that. All these trucks are just my own. There's literally next to no people traveling there in comparison. So, quite crazy. I suppose that is due to the fact that there's no public transport that people can use down there to get around. So, would probably be pretty worth it actually getting public transport of my own going, but that's something we'll have to do eventually. Could also, honestly, get quite the nice mountainous train track going here. So, you know, maybe worth considering in the future. I know that there's like these, I think it's Swiss trains that are like these trains that just traverse the Swiss Alps usually, and they look quite cool. They're electric. I do not think they're available to us yet, but if and when they are, I would really like to consider getting those. Sounds pretty cool to me, to be honest. But anyways, we are gonna go and get a train depot set up like right here. Angle honestly not being too important because, well, as long as the train makes it onto the train track, that is great. Well, too much curvature is going to be an issue though, and ew. Okay. maybe the angle was of importance after all. Now, I suppose we can do something like this instead and just turn the train around when it gets there. Unless we get too much curvature there too, which we don't. Cool. So that's the way for us to do it. We've got the line set up, we've got the train track set up, so let's go and get a train set up now. I will want something fast, the fastest thing that we got pretty much, which I guess is currently the Flying Scotsman. Now, we could do electric trains, sure, but it's more maintenance, it's slower, it has got more power and tractive effort, which is fair and all, but, well, actually, the speed doesn't really quite matter, I suppose, because, yeah, I guess that the speed doesn't quite matter, but the difference between the power and tractive effort between these is going to matter because I'm going to have to make the train super long. Now, then again, that train can also pull more, and we're... Okay, maybe we do electric. I was going to do this because it's kind of cheaper in maintenance, cheaper in purchase price and everything, and we will need more money for this. But the reason that I'm going for electric is not the emission, as much as that does very much improve. The reason that I'm going for an electric train is that it just has a lot of power and tractive effort, and given that our train cars are currently limited at 80 kilometers an hour, I think, yep, we just want as much power and tractive effort as we can, I suppose, to make the train as long as we can, basically, if that makes sense. So, we will grab an AE47, which, by the way, also seems to be a Swiss locomotive, so beautiful right there. And we will just have to put a lot of gondolas on the back of this thing, basically. A lot. Like, a lot. And that train is going to be crazy expensive. But as long as we are in, like, a good spot where we can stay like above 50 kilometers an hour, I would probably say, I'm gonna be happy with that. So there's mediocre, there's good, still above 50 kilometers an hour. That's gonna be the way that we want to buy this train, and you can see that this is going to be quite massive indeed. 328 capacity, nearly half a kilometer in train length, which is absolutely insane and pretty darn expensive. So I think it's going to take us a second to actually accumulate this amount of riches, so I will place a quick cut, and whenever we actually have the money together to buy this insane train, I'll be back with you. Alright, back we are. Just, in theory bought the train, and practically it didn't go through. For some reason. Maybe exactly when I hit buy train, the money amounts that we had just fell through. I don't know. That was quite weird. But let me go do that again. We had a capacity of 328, so that is what we are going for, and that should still leave us at a good performance by that. And there we finally go. Absolutely insane, by the way, the amount of earnings we had there. Like, I think we were at 18 mil of earnings or something. Like, the earnings are quite insane if I don't keep reinvesting the money, which of course I do, because we want to make more and we want to grow faster, so we're going to keep doing that, certainly. But with that said, we've got Clay, Broadstairs, and St. Peter's, and let's get that train going off the construction lines. This thing is going to be pretty surely the longest and most massive train I have ever had in Transport Fever, and I'm sure there's many more to come. Look at this insane thing. That's not going to end for a while. This is not going to end for a while now. Like, there's just going to be more and more and more and more train cars coming. Yeah. It's insane, isn't it? I absolutely love it. Like, this thing is going to be ginormous, but we are going to need that size to make sure that we fulfill the demands that we are going to have from the construction materials site, because honestly, this thing's only going to go 80 kilometers an hour, and that's going to take a long while to traverse the actual map. Now that the train cars are all pretty much in there, I'm going to turn the train around and gonna get it to pick up the first bits and bobs of clay here. Now, that's not going to be too much for a start, but it is going to be a start, and I'm sure we're going to be amassing more in no time. And, well, it's insane, isn't it? $23 million for one train. I would say that is pretty insane in my books. But that is that line then finally going. It took us an absolute age to get it going, but hopefully that's now going to allow us to grow Broadstairs and St. Peter's some more. And then we can focus on the next thing. But with that said, we're not really quite done yet, as we do, of course, also have to connect up Broadstairs and St. Peter's. And, well, we've got this train line right here, which we want to go and connect to. I think it's going to be a bit complicated doing so, because we will have to make sure that somehow we leave enough space for the one train line on the one hand, we get a tunnel going on the other hand side, and the tunnel's kind of got to be lower down than the other tunnels, because we got to traverse things here in just a minute. So this is going to be interesting, and we also don't want to make it too narrow of an angle, because we do, of course, also want to keep some speed, if possible, down here. So that is going to be very interesting indeed. I think this is basically going to be the way to go. And then we're going to go and pull this thing back up from here on out, basically, and hope that it is actually going to manage to come back up in time for the train station, which it does indeed seem to be able to do that for us. Now, we do not get 300 kilometers top speed all along that train line, but I think that is honestly quite fine the way that it is, and I'm pretty happy that that connection works out that way, to be honest. And we'll have to see if this one will eventually work out. I'm kind of worried about this little tunnel entrance blocking that off for us, but hopefully that will not be the case. But that is quite insane. That's another train line going then. Now for this one, we'll build another train depot out here, most certainly. We'll get another line going. I'm not going to buy a train instantly. We're probably going to actually... Well, actually, we're going to buy a train instantly, because that train's already halfway over, and we're back to 15 mil, because I had a time running on triple speed. Insane. How much clay do we have stacked up there in the meanwhile? 73 units. Well, you got to get going a bit faster, mate, because we need more than 73 units. Actually, probably it only ships 100 units until this thing here upgrades, which will be a bit, because Broadstairs and St. Peter's is not going to require that much. So maybe, you know, maybe we're just going to be totally fine with that setup. I mean, clay, bricks, clay, Broadstairs, St. Peter's, 145 of a rate. 145 of a rate for that big of a train is insanely low, honestly. I mean, like, we're eventually going to get to a point where we need 400, so we're going to need to make that train longer, faster, and we're probably going to need a second one, which is pretty insane in my books. But that's fine. For the time being, we are going to go and get a track going right here so we can connect that up. Too much slope, again. Really? Doesn't matter the train track, apparently. I suppose... No. Doesn't work. Nothing works. Beautiful. Alright, let's just redo that. I guess I very suboptimally placed that train depot, so we're just going to quickly redo that instead and kind of adjust the angle here a bit, and then we're going to be good to go, I would very much hope. Too much slope. Oh, is there too much of a decline in the... Oh, I misunderstood that. I thought it was like curvature, not slope. That's an issue. Gonna redo that a third time. Not like we need to worry about losing $20,000 at the moment, I suppose. We're gonna just lower the thing into the ground, and then it should be good, I would very much hope. If it isn't, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep, but there we go. Beautiful. So we are gonna get another line going then from here to here, and we are going to call it bricks to Broadstairs and St. Peter's. Beautiful. And then we're gonna go get a train for it. We're not gonna make it anything crazy, I don't think. Like, we can probably make it a BR 75.4, because that's some nice and low maintenance. This one is even lower maintenance, but a lot lower in speed and a good bunch lower in power and tractive effort. So we're going to make it this. Surely we could also make it an electric train to keep the emissions low, but the maintenance for those is insane compared to this thing, so we're not going to do that. I will need... What will I need? What kind of car will I need? This. Flat cars with science stakes is one we are going to get. I think we're going to make it like 56 capacity. That should be more than fine. 51 in high slopes, that's pretty good. 4.7 mil is also pretty good for a price, and I think the frequency is going to easily match what we need. So we are going to go bricks, Broadstairs, and St. Peter's. Beautiful. And that should be ready to go. Absolutely awesome. Now, what I wanted to check in here real quick, though, what I wanted to check on here, whatever, was the food stuff, because we do not seem to be doing full shipments at the moment. I'm kind of wondering if that is just due to the city's not demanding as much, or due to us not being able to deliver as much. We're going to have to see. We've got 136 right here. We've got 104 right here, which is 236, and we've got Blackburn, which one's 36. Okay, so basically this is all fine. We are only shipping 274 because there's, like, that's kind of the total demand from all our cities, basically, right? So we're not falling behind on delivery capacities, I would not say. We're more just kind of waiting for the cities to request more, which is nice because that means we're kind of future-proofed for this kind of stuff. And we've also got this fuel refinery right here, which is at 217 out of 300 shipment, despite me attaching one more city to the delivery grid, which is kind of crazy. We've got 121 supply required right here. Where's my train at, actually? That's supposed to deliver that. Here. 0. Why are we not delivering fuel? Oh. We found an issue, guys. And girls, we found an issue. Do you know what the issue is? We're delivering fuel out here to the station, but the fuel is not being re-delivered to the city. That is, of course, something that we cannot keep going that way, and despite the whole episode already being quite long, I think we will have to fix that real quick. So let's go and attach a little bit of a truck stop right here, and we will need an unload stop, which is kind of like in the middle of all this fuel demand here. Boop. Beautiful. And we should have a road depot somewhere down here, I think. So we are just going to go and get a line up. We are going to get it from here to here. And we are going to call it fuel delivery. What was this? Basic stoke. Beautiful. And then we are going to go and get some trucks and actually put them in there, and that will mean that we get to finally actually deliver some fuel and actually fulfill some fuel demands, and that will upgrade the other fuel refinery and actually make us money on that line, because thus far we were not delivering anything because we didn't actually have the entire thing set up properly. Which, well, is a bit of an issue, isn't it? So, we're going to get 6 trucks out there. I hope that's going to be fine. And we're going to get them to fuel delivery Basingstoke. And we're probably just going to turn that train straight around, to be honest, because it's not really in the process of delivering anything for us at the moment. And hopefully then, that will mean that this terminal out here will also start getting populated with fuel that we will be delivering to Basingstoke, and that the shipment rates here are going to go up because we finally fill all that demand, which will in turn mean that this fuel refinery is going to keep leveling ever more. So, very much looking forward to that. I hope that's all going to go fine for us. We also have a lot of passengers stacking up here, so we will have to check out what's going on with that eventually. I think we've got a lot of things to check back on in general. We are going to go and upgrade the airplanes for our plane, for our airplane company right here that we're ferrying people with all across the world, and well, we're going to have a lot of things to check in on. But that all is going to have to happen in the next episode, unfortunately, because we've already run out of time for this one. So I hope you all enjoyed the episode. If you did, as usual, please make sure to hit that like button down below. It does always help out the channel a ton. And if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, also please consider hitting that subscribe button right down below, as well as that bell icon to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. But with all that out of the way, as usual, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you'll have a great weekend, and I hope I'll catch you in the next one very, very soon. Ciao.